I don't know what came over me that time. Ignore that in the background, by the way, man. This is just people getting shot. It's okay. Um, you already know, man. It's Sunday. Got my shark outfit today, man. It's time to talk about something serious. Friday Funkin' controversies. It's not a mod. It's just a discussion about the weirdos of Friday Night Funkin', man. I'm gonna be reacting to a video by Lanza.
It has been exactly one.
Can you shut the... No. Yeah. This is the same guy that we reacted to about the... Did I react to this on stream? It was like, the zoophile person or something. I don't know if I reacted to that, but it's yeah, Alonzo, I'll leave his channel in the description, their channel in the description, whatever. Man, let's just get right into it, man. Get right into it. Yeah, man. Friday Night Creepin'. Why'd you have to name it that way? The twisted creators of Friday Night Funkin' fandom. See, here's the thing. I don't understand why people hate Friday Night Funkin', like the actual game. Because they're like, oh, so mid. Like, to be fair, it hasn't gotten any updates and stuff, but, to be honest, the mod community is really the one keeping it, like, relevant, a little relevant, like, the Hypno mod is a freaking good example. That's high quality right there, man. That's high quality. Those are the good mods. But of course, the good mods always have to have bad people in them, like the Sonic.exe one. Yeah, well, let's just get into it, man. He'll talk about it. Intro.
Friday Night Funkin' is a very popular game akin to Dance Dance Revolution, and a game that has a massive child fan base due to its appealing nature.
I wouldn't say popular, but yeah. It's still there. Oh, frick. Sorry about that. Is this good? This is good, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, why am I so transparent today? I'm so invisible. That's fine. No, but I think the reason why so many weirdos are on Friday Night Funkin' is because so many kids are in it. Because it looks like a kid's game. Because it's cartoony. But as you know, cartoons aren't always for kids. Take, for example, Sausage Party. That's not a cartoon, but that's an animated movie with bad things in it that you shouldn't watch. It's rated R or something. I don't know. Somehow it's about food. Okay.
Of course, with this child fanbase, along comes
Fine,
the
I'll play
content
it.
creators that make videos for them
Man, the best music ever. Guys, Corey said it, so it's true. Come on,
to
man.
enjoy. And unfortunately today, some of these content creators got a
Yeah.
couple of dark secrets tucked away behind the scenes. These
That's
skeletons in
weird.
the closet will be revealed in due time, so let's see what a couple of these content creators have gotten themselves into in the Friday Night Funkin' community.
Yeah.
Shannon Sunday is a YouTuber best known for making animation videos related to Friday Night Funkin', with his most popular one sitting at a cool 13 million views. They were extremely popular in the Friday Night Funkin' community, but
I
behind
remember watching this.
the scenes, there was a bit more going on with
No
them.
way,
To make it as
man.
blunt as I can, a Google document was released on July 15th, 2020.
Okay, amassing over currently for making numerous mods, which includes 13-year-old X. Age gap between the distinctive, huh? Bro, like why?
21,
Dude.
going over how Shannon was with someone when they were 17 or 18, and the other
Huh?
person was 12 to 13 years old.
Bro.
The document goes right into showing that Shannon sent a certain kind of website link to the 12-year-old when he was
Bro, I hate this word so much. Noise.
17, along with him
It
and
doesn't have to do anything with this, but this is so annoying to me. You also said you wouldn't do... Didn't you? You did? I admit I did, but it's over now. Please don't bring this up again. I regret my
admitting to
decision.
encounters with an ex of his who was still 13 at
Okay.
the time, saying stuff like how he's sleeping with them
NPCs, he would literally rant and go to Mr. Hope come back, man, so much.
and how he misses them and such. More screenshots show Shannon acting some type of way and talking about the minor in a very strange manner,
Okay,
but
but
they'd eventually break up.
Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot handle the feeling giving me sorry for this over very well. What? Shan, I'm so sorry. Sorry for what? Please don't leave me.
Causing Shannon to go a bit crazy in their DMs, practically begging for them to stay with him and whatnot. His ex would claim
You realized he... Yeah, so I realized it was wrong and decided to
that
look
what
at
had gone on between the two of them wasn't platonic, and Shannon would try to guilt trip his way back
I miss you so much. Lost people used to love me and block me. I know. Broke up with lost you and stuff. And she's gone all times.
to the friend group, at one point making a sort of tribute video of his and his ex's relationship.
That's so cringy. Oh my gosh. Okay.
The rest of the document would be
What?
stories from old friends of his with no evidence to back up their claims, but then some future updates will come out to flesh things out a little bit more for everybody. After the document came out, Shannon would message the
Oh my. Pico, I know they made me not have as good times as after Keith had told. No way they're actually. Okay, no, I thought they were role playing or something. Okay.
writer on Discord, going over how they've been making themselves a better person and whatnot since everything went down. Sounds all good, right? Someone getting the help they need. Unfortunately for that, along with this message would also be new evidence showing two pictures Shannon sent at one point. One with some very nasty stuff going down in a drawing between a person and a rabbit, and another of Shannon and the 13-year-old he was with. Given this new information, whether Shannon is getting the proper help or not is up to interpretation. The Shannon Sunday story is pretty cut and dry. It's clear that Shannon was trying to date someone 5 years younger than them, along with sending them links to certain websites, and given this is a massive age gap between someone who's almost out of high school and someone who might not even be in high school yet, it was no surprise that once everything was published, people wanted nothing to do with them anymore. Shannon took a few months hiatus from his YouTube channel after the news broke, and has recently gotten back into video creation, so at this point it's up to the public to make their minds up on whether they want him back or not. While this is nowhere near the biggest story of this video, it still gives you a hint of what's to come, as for whatever reason, the Friday Night Funkin' community really has a lot of bad apples trying to ruin the bunch, with some of those bad apples being talented as well, only making their inevitable downfall just that much more painful to watch. The Maze was a Friday Night Funkin' modder, best known for his mod Sunday Night Suicide.
Oh, bro, that one? Dude, that mod... I remember that guy got so mad because everyone was, like, talking about how bad the mod was because of the screen shake and stuff. Bro, he was so mad. He's like, I'm gonna make the best song in the world, You won't be able to understand how good the song will be. And it was just, dude, people found out the melody before the song even came out. That's so sad. Imagine you think you're gonna make the best song in the world, but people already know what it sounds like before you even release it. Like the official song sounded like slightly different from everyone else's interpretation. But yeah, it was just a slightly different version of the fan thing, plus a lot more screen shake. It wasn't even that good.
Which is a parody based off the Suicide Mouse creepypasta. That mod would be the main thing bringing attention to his name, along with making mashup videos for people to join on YouTube, and so he would start to gain a notable amount of attention towards his channel during 2021. He even started to work on a mod featuring his own custom character Kai, with a GoFundMe to find voice actors to boot. Nothing strange.
Sorry, I got some hair in my eyes right now. Hold on. The frick, where did that come from? It's all good. It's all good. Okay, I'm back. Got my makeup back on. Okay.
Was going on at all, and people were happy to see a hard worker in the community finally getting the attention he deserves, but then some issues would start to peer its head around the corner. What started as small little things quickly built up into stuff that is much more serious. Sometime in fall 2021, Maze would post a slightly risque picture of Kai and says that he was getting backlash for how it looked, as some people thought it was a child. He explains that Kai is a 23-year-old and not a child like some people have been saying, and so he asks people for their opinions. To me, it looks more like a situation where the art style doesn't represent the character's age very well. It's something that's happened before with art and in the art community, and so with this information at the time, I brushed it off as nothing more but a misunderstanding at the very worst. Maze would also have issues getting banned over and over on TikTok for whatever reason, but that was as far as it went. Maze would find out about the creator of another popular creepypasta, Sonic.exe, was outed for talking to kids, so to say, and so would make a post exclaiming his discomfort as he was a huge fan of the story and how it influenced his childhood. He would end things off saying there wasn't any reason to hate the story, but only really the person, and so he was kinda cool after that.
Okay.
It was more of an emotional, on the whim kind of post, but gave a bit of insight on how he could be very reactionary at times. Maze would make a post how he saw Lil Nas X's boyfriend apparently cheated on him, and started to plan a tribute song for Lil Nas X in Friday Night Funkin'.
What?
This post reeked of those really cringe terminally online messages that you come across sometimes on the internet, so while not bad in of itself, it was very weird to look at.
Yeah,
He
what?
would make another post about how people were bashing him
Nice pixels. Alright, enough is enough. I had it with everyone constantly beating my affair mod. You made a mod about an affair? What? What? What is... Why
for
would
the
you...
original, going on a tangent about how his mod is now cancelled, and that if people keep messing with him, he would erase all mods from the internet and take down anything related to it.
All mods,
a leaked
okay.
DM would show that this was some convoluted plot to get all the haters in trouble, as if he took his stuff.
If the mods are taken down, there'd be no one else to blame but the haters. See where I'm going with this? What?
Down, other people will start to go after them, and so he would make a long-winded post basically saying that he acted.
You ever see these movies the villain gets his revenge and gets an empty feeling? I was thinking if I quit, the haters would definitely be happy, but after a while, I think now what? The reason
out of immaturity, and that he was sorry for trying to get other people harassed. This whole incident would also cause the voice actors for the Kind mod to leave, and so things were left off in a pretty weird spot. It was clear that Maze let his emotions get the best of him, as his plans to epically own all the haters only showed people how reactionary he could be, and in this case it was so bad for him that he lost 2 integral people to his work.
Why are there so many immature man babies in this community? Why? It's literally press arrows to song. How could you mess it up that badly?
Maze would update his mod with a new phase called Really Happy, which had a lot of shakiness going on, so much in fact that it caused somebody to have a seizure. Now normally when a developer is made aware of this, they would apologize and instantly add a warning for those who plan on playing the mod or change it entirely. Maze would instead go on a rant about how he purposefully meant to make the game feel uncomfortable and that he had no intentions to trigger anything. He would end the post off by saying, "So thank you for telling me I did my job well," rather than make the proper warning for the downloaders, and instead just came off as an asshole to those who were actually worried about the issues the mod could
Oh, my child had a seizure. What is wrong with you? Oh, thank you. The mod works. Let's go.
cause. He would eventually add a seizure warning after constant pressure from people, and make a post about how he can be immature at times, and rant about how he's only 18, how he isn't perfect and all that.
He's 18. 18, really?
He is young. This post came off as downplaying stuff as, "I'm just immature," rather than understanding the reality of the situation. All Maze had to do was apologize and add a seizure warning or take it out of the game, but instead he turns it into a thing about how haters are trying to bring him down, and whenever proper criticism is made, he says he's immature and he's sorry. It's quite strange to see someone act this way on multiple occasions, and while the situations aren't massive things thus far, it does show people how Maze gets reactionary extremely quickly before backpedaling after he realizes his initial reaction was a mistake. Maze would run into another issue after he ran sponsorships for an NFT company called Vive.
No
he would
way.
quickly apologize for this, but quite possibly the weirdest way I've ever seen an apology on the internet, through a Family Guy meme.
You know what really grinds my gears? You Vive. Fuck you! Fellows from Mean Catch-Up, let me get you up to speed. Not too long ago, a company called Vive offered to sponsor me. That made their ads for them promoting their business. I've known the dark truth. Vive is an NFT company. Oh my god!
Oh my god! Smack my ass like the drum!
Bro, what?
Okay. I'm gonna finish the Vive video and then I'll take away a mainstream mess. Their collectibles aren't even real. They just sit on your phone. I mean, what's even the point of that? I mean, look how much they're charging for the Ghostbusters logo. What would you even do with that? I deeply apologize for nearly scamming you all. One last thing, I'm not trying to start a war with Vive or anything. I'm simply another my sponsor.
That does not sound like...
After this, I want nothing to do with Vive. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Thank you all for watching this video. And if Vive comes and asks for a sponsor, you know what to tell him.
Like, I'm happy he apologized for sponsoring an NFT company, but with the Family Guy meme, like, seriously? It came off as super tone deaf and off-putting, and it made the apology seem like a giant joke to those watching. It was just really weird and jarring, and while not bad like the other controversies, was still yet another blow to his already shaky credibility. With that being said, all these controversies could be written off as small issues from somebody who reacts poorly to things, and so while worth talking about, was nothing inherently off.
Please?
What transpires next, though, would change that sentiment for the rest of May's career. On January 2nd, 2022, Twitter user Bandis Warehouse would post a Google document exposing Maze and the actions on his Discord server.
Oh my god.
One of the chats that Maze had was called the Chonk Chat, in which Maze and others would post fetishy fat artwork with no form of age verification needed to join the chat, only a simple reaction role instead. There was also a whole other Discord server named the Chonk Chat dedicated to talking about these interests, with people under the age of 18 talking in said server, Maze roleplaying with one of them at one point, and even a chat dedicated to talking about weight gain interests. It gets—
Ah, no, I need to take a break. Oh my god, bro. Like, why? What? I can't say anything else, but the only thing I could say is why, but I'll never get the answer. Cause they're just weird. They're just weird. They're weird. I don't know.
It's worse though, as it would come out that Maze, who was 18 at the time, was trying to convince a 15-year-old to leave their boyfriend to date him, and even manipulated her into giving him certain pictures and other favors.
Are you
serious? The boyfriend would make his own posts after finding this out, and even confronted Maze about everything, in which the conversation didn't really lead anywhere. The girl
no way.
Even confronted—
Look, I don't know if you can see this because the thing's blocking it, but look, it says, you know what? I don't care. After all that, are you... Oh my gosh.
Maze about everything, in which the conversation didn't really lead anywhere. The girl herself would say that, yeah, he was taking advantage of her for his own gratification, confirming what we already knew. Maze would actually confront the person who wrote the Google Doc, with the conversation not really leading anywhere other than Maze trying to shift the blame onto them for exposing the chats to the public. Along with this, there would be claims of him not properly crediting artists that worked for him, but everything else was much worse in the bigger focus. This was extremely bad to look at because anybody of any age could just get into these servers, and given the subject matter, it was beyond disturbing, and that's not even mentioning the manipulation he did to the girl as well. After the Google document came out, Crit, a voice actor for the Kai mod, would come out about their own experience with Maze, adding more fuel to the fire. They would talk with each other about his reaction to the haters during the really happy situation, how it was really poor and whatnot, and then he would say that the people were trying to frame him for attempted murder because of the mod. They argue back and forth about how he had no evidence for that claim, and then the proof that Maze shows has nothing to do with the attempted murder claim, and that Crit started to feel Maze was just trying to argue for the sake of it. Things would end off with a string of posts of Maze stating that he was sorry for how he was acting and whatnot, very similar to what he had done before after every other controversy, and so Crit would stop speaking to him after he tried to pull this stunt off on him once more. Maze would make a Reddit post going over a couple of the allegations and stuff that really doesn't debunk anything against him. He says that the person he roleplayed with was an adult but doesn't prove it. He shows the messages with the 15-year-old girl basically saying that they aren't friends anymore after she exposed him, and doesn't go into anything about how he tried to use her for his gratification. His response to not crediting artists was that he didn't credit them yet because he didn't add the character in the game yet, and showed his frustration for leaking Phase 4 in his mod. The Chonk Chat was apparently made for good intentions too, so that he could make the FNF fandom a bit more kink friendly.
What? What do you mean? Kink friendly? What do kinks have to do with singing? Why would you encourage... What?
Nothing like at all really made any sense here.
Exactly.
No detail into the 15-year-old stuff. More mad about Phase 4 being leaked than the actual claim against him, and trying to say that he was doing a good thing by making the Friday Night Funkin' fandom more kink-friendly, a fandom predominantly made up of children.
Exactly. What's exposing like children to these weird things? They're not even supposed to look at any of this, man.
It screamed tone deaf, and so Maze would go on to make a YouTube video to defend himself later on. The video proves that the roleplay was with an adult, thankfully, but the rest of it was basically the Reddit post but in video format. He admits that the way to get into the NSFW stuff in his server was literally through a role and nothing more, which is extremely reckless as kids can just lie about their age. This whole situation is very bizarre, as it's clear that almost everything save for the 15-year-old situation comes down to extreme recklessness. You don't let people into an NSFW channel with just a role. The reaction to Phase 4 being leaked rather than the artist credit being the main issue was tone deaf, and going off about the haters during the Lil Nas X and Really Happy Mod stuff was simply just wrong. Even with the 15-year-old thing, there was no hard evidence from either side, so that could come down to whatever you want to believe too, but it's still bad nonetheless. It's very clear by now that Maze is a reactionary person, and said reactions led him making poor initial statements, which only make him look worse.
This guy is so weird, man. I'm so glad he's not like a popular person. He made one of the mods, one of like the popular mods, but it's not even that good. It's not even that high quality, so it's not that bad, I guess. 35K though? Really? 35,000 people, really? Sorry, I need to put my makeup back on. Sorry about it. Bro.
After some time had passed though, he'd make his own Google document about everything that had gone down for those keeping up with him. He admits he could have done a better job with the chomp chat, and that the whole thing about making the FNF fandom more kink friendly was him trying to get people to not get harassed for their preferences, but given that there are so many better ways to do that, it just came off as really stupid.
Hey, you can have your kinks or whatever, you can have things you like, but keep it to yourself, please. If you don't want to be looked at as a weird person, keep that to yourself. I don't understand why you feel like you need to go like, oh, I like fat people. Oh, they look so. Why would you do that in front of so many people? Like, why? Keep that to yourself, please.
The stuff with the 15-year-old girl was him basically trying to assume her reaction.
Like doing that in
after
front of
confronting
kids,
her,
too?
And deadass didn't lead to anything other than showing people he doesn't understand the gravity of his actions. He talks about the
course he
really
doesn't.
happy stuff again, but explains that he wasn't trying to hurt people.
Really happy's mechanic. Yeah, exactly, mechanic.
Which everyone already knew. He again misunderstands the point that it was his initial reaction of being cocky about it, rather than admitting he messed up by not adding a seizure warning, and again, whether intentionally or not, shows everyone that he doesn't understand what people are trying to convey to him. It didn't really add anything new and only solidified to others that Maze struggles to understand the main issue people have with him, and instead gets caught up in his head with what he thinks people are mad at him for. Of course, things wouldn't end smoothly for him, as leaked DMs dated February 2nd, 2022 show Maze role-playing and talking with another 15-year-old, sure that he'll just repeat his behavior like he did with the first girl. He would then quit the Friday Night Funkin' fandom after people found out about this, only to rejoin soon after once he calmed down from his initial reaction, so nothing really happened here at all. On May 15th, Maze and another person named Zadak would expose Bluebell, another voice actor that was part of the Kai mod, and go into detail on that. Zadak goes on about how Blue would draw suggestive drawings of characters that are minors and show proof of that, then also claims that Blue gaslights people but provides no evidence, so that didn't really go anywhere. Maze will start to go on about his experience with Blue, and the experience has no evidence whatsoever, so there's literally no point in me going over this. TLDR, Blue apparently did a shit job at moderation in her Discord server, and Maze helped fix an issue she was ignoring.
Bro, I hate drama so much, man. It's so confusing, so infuriating, because, like, there's so many things to be... It's just so much, man.
Again, no evidence to this whatsoever, so take it however you feel. Maze would also get upset that Toastify, the YouTuber who initially covered his allegations back in January 2022,
Too many chances,
Toastify would
sure.
respond in part of a video.
Yes, they are weak. You had nothing to back up your claims. You don't specify how you originally talked to Blue, and considering how you mentioned straight after that you were dragged into a call, it's reasonable to assume it was over DMs. Where is your proof? Even when it came to flimsy claims such as the 15-year-old on the original document, there were at least DMs of other people talking about the event happening. Here, there is nothing at all, and to act surprised when someone calls a claim backed up by no screenshots weak, it's just idiotic.
Yeah, Maze didn't really do anything here. Zadak was the only person who made any solid claim against Blue, and Maze kinda just said stuff with no proof. Sometime in March, leaked DMs would show Maze.
Oh, no, judge me. Long story. I don't know. You grabbed. Oh, what? Why would you tell him that? What?
Talking about a certain genre of internet videos with a 14-year-old girl, and so things would quickly ramp up yet again for the disgraced Friday Night Funkin' modder. On March 16th, a former person he dated when he was 17 and they were 14 would come out with a video about their own experience with him. I highly suggest watching the video on your own time, as it really gives a lot of insight on just how messed up he is, such as when he tried inflation.
I can tell just by this video alone. One day I got my... What?
Played with a 10-year-old, how he would send a bunch of emails to them after they broke up trying to apologize to her, and even pretended to be his own mother to try and get her talking to him again. The stuff he was doing was abhorrent and gave a lot of insight on how far he's willing to do whatever he felt like, even if it meant harming those he was supposed to keep safe. The video would make traction in late April, and so after being made aware of this, Maze would rebrand his channel to Starlight just a few days later, trying to drop the Maze name entirely as it has been officially tainted in his own eyes. Leaked Discord messages would show him trying to pin the blame on another person entirely, saying that they were the ones that sent all those nasty things to the girl and that it wasn't him. Maze didn't take any accountability for what he put her through, and instead tries to pin the blame on his imaginary autistic 12-year-old cousin or whatever.
What?
Even with all this going around, nothing was stopping him from trying to keep his internet career moving forward. That is, until a very particular post came out on Twitter. On May 14th, Twitter user Cubic Spindle would make a meme post basically calling his thumbnail funny.
Literally, yeah, I don't understand why you do that. Like, you have your character just, like, mad and stuff. And, dude, the thumbnail is so stupid. Like, what? Exactly, what is that thumbnail?
Got over 65,000 likes within a couple of days. That Twitter post is what caused Maze to finally cave in, as he'd make his own on his YouTube channel, stating that he planned to delete it in the next 12 hours and would go through with it, officially ending the Maze saga once and for all. All it took was a viral Twitter shitpost. That's the story of The Maze, a Friday Night Funkin' content creator who on the surface was just a reactionary person, but below was far worse than people initially imagined. The situation was a very weird one because a lot of how he acts or does things can be written off as his personality traits getting in the way, but when things like multiple instances of talking to underage people come out, along with what he put his ex through, it was clear he was more than just a reactionary person, but someone who really only did things based off his own discretion. The way his channel ended was very unexpected, but at least we can say for now he's officially gone, so go be it. While not the worst case we've seen on this channel, he certainly isn't far from it. With that being said, Maze wasn't the only modder in the Friday Night Funkin' community that got himself into a bit of a mess due to his own antics.
Yeah.
Emmer Ultra was a Friday Night Funkin' modder popular in the community for his Bob and Bosup mod.
He's really popular, really popular.
He originally started on YouTube making Geometry Dash videos with his characters Bob and Bosup before taking a break in 2019 altogether. He would come back with a vengeance in March 2020 with brand new videos about Friday Night Funkin', featuring an upgraded Bob and Bosup in their very own mod that he made. Thousands of people flocked to his mod as it was nothing ever seen before at the time, and so in his peak he would gain many new subscribers, at one point getting 90,000 subscribers in the month of August 2021 alone. As his success rapidly grew, Amor would post a video promoting an update to his mod, the EX update, gaining over 1 million views within a few months span, and showing everyone that he was a rising star in the Friday Night Funkin' community, and was not planning on slowing down anytime soon.
This was the first high quality FNF mod that like really got bozoed on, man, because this one guy. Oh my gosh.
Given this video's very premise, however, it's safe to say those plans got pushed aside for a much bigger issue at hand. At first, it was just people finding out Amor was talking positively to Aether DX, somebody who was already ousted from the community after doing their own deplorable shit, with messages of the two having a normal conversation about their lives and the EX update and whatnot. Listen, it's okay to have a line of communication open with shitty people in case you need evidence or you need some sort of admission from them or something, but to talk to them in a positive way and have it come out later to the public that you were doing so, that gave people a very weird vibe. Nothing inherently bad, but certainly one that made people think a bit more about how Amor is. After the launch of the EX update, it would come out later that Amor pushed the devs to release it that month of December 2021.
What?
Not just any sort of push, however, but literally basing the entire launch off a leak of the mod, pushing his devs to overworking themselves so hard that one of them got sick, along with blaming them on any delays, screaming at them, and generally just being an asshole to those working on the update. The mistreatment of his staff was awful to hear about, but not only would he mistreat his staff, he would also mistreat his video editors, going as far to pay someone who worked for hours on a video a whopping total of $40.
40.
That's
oh my. I make more than that. Why would what? What are you talking about? No, I don't make that. I like, dude, what? That's so. Wait, did you say 8 hours? For
to pay someone who worked for hours on a video
Oh,
a
hours.
whopping total of $40. That's it.
That's crazy. That's
If
crazy.
you're gonna hire editors, at least pay them good money and don't rip them off. $40 ain't shit, and to see Amor pay someone so little is kinda shitty to do. Retro Dubs, a voice actor on Twitter, would come out with a
Okay.
post saying that Amor had him and another person in line to voice Bob in the EX update, but due to his poor communication, he dropped out and missed out on an opportunity to take part in a big mod and help his career out. He would end up in a Twitter space with Amor in it, and after noticing him, he would make a few jokes about missing out on voicing Bob, and others started to join in, and so it annoyed him and made him feel insecure about his voice acting work.
Wow.
Retro ends things off by saying he had to get this all off his chest because it affected him so much. These three situations are things that show a fault in character, but things that are forgivable and can be fixed. Amor clearly let his own stress about the EX update being leaked go into the dev group, so next time he can control his emotions before putting them onto others. He should start paying his editors more money now, which is an extremely easy fix altogether, so that one's a no-brainer. With the Retro Dub situation, it sounded like really bad communication from his part and unnecessarily teasing based off his own mistakes, so next time he should be more cordial and straightforward with who he hires and what his plans are for them. All of these things can be fixed easily with time and effort, so at this point, while still bad to hear about, it wasn't anything worth trying to ruin the guy's career over. That of course would obviously change. In late December, Twitter user Colson will post a bunch of screenshots of Amor's NSFW alt account of drawings with a 17-year-old, himself at 18, and Blue Skies at 19, doing the obvious things that will be done on said account. While it's just a 2-year age gap at most between the people that were all consenting in the art that was drawn, it was extremely reckless to draw this to begin with. It's not pedophilic, but you don't draw that kind of stuff even if the ages are close, because it's not a smart thing to do and generally leads down to a bunch of shit flying off the handle. And let me tell you, this shit that flew off the handle after this was certainly something to gaze at. At first, it was a really creepy post showing that Amor drew his character with the girl he liked behind her back, but then it would suddenly ramp up from then on out. A Reddit post would come out of Amor, who was around 16 years old at the time, acting inappropriately with a 14 and 12-year-old, both in a relationship, asking to draw NSFW drawings of their characters together. It was very strange and very questionable to see Amor acting this way, and not only would he do that with them two, but also with two other people, this time both being 13-year-old boys, and pretty much saying the same kind of stuff he did with the last two. The screenshots clearly show him doing what he did with the other two, and shows that Amor has a pattern of behavior acting out this way. Another post will come out with someone saying Amor pressured others into drawing NSFW of them as well and went through with it, so now we're 3 for 3 on that, which is extremely creepy to see coming to fruition. Raku, the 12-year-old involved in the first claim, would come out to give more details on her experience with Amor. She would state that she was 13 instead of 12 and quickly started to talk about how
that doesn't make a
pressured
difference.
both her and her boyfriend into drawing NSFW stuff of them, along with him generally just being weird about it and constantly talking about it in public chats they were in. Amor would eventually show Raku part of the art piece he drew, and the conversation got awkward as she clearly says she wished she didn't ask to see it, and would go on to clarify on Twitter that she regrets supporting his art habit before anything is off with screenshots of what he drew after she was convinced into making a story about their relationship with her boyfriend. It's all so strange to look at, and while it doesn't give off any malicious vibes, it is certainly creepy and weird to look on it.
Yeah, no, bro, it's so weird. Hold on. Sorry about that. Oh, Jesus. Thank you. Dude. This is... Man. This is ruining FNF for me, man. To be completely honest. The mods, not the actual game. I can't wait for the actual game to come out, man. But, you know, the mods, man, they're weird.
More screenshots will come out of Amor making an NSFW chat despite him and others in his Discord server being underage, and more posts of people stating that Amor would pressure and influence people to draw NSFW or let him draw NSFW other characters. At one point, he would even try to convince a minor to draw NSFW stuff, and when he was 18, he would ask to see pictures of someone who was 15 years old at the time, even sharing his NSFW Twitter account to them. Amor would start to lose subscribers on his YouTube channel due to all these posts coming out, and so on December 21st, he would put out a message on Twitter stating that he would be getting help for how he's acted and been acting and all that sort of stuff. Y'all have seen this kind of message before from multiple people and whatnot, so no need to go into any explicit detail. Honey Bunny, a friend of Amor's, will leak a message he sent to them on December 27th, stating that he will be getting the proper help and apologize for hurting them and anybody else around him. Ever since then, Amor hasn't posted on his Twitter nor YouTube accounts, and for all intents and purposes is officially gone from the internet.
Yeah,
the story of Amor Ultra is a really strange one to look at. It's clear that he wasn't being outright malicious with his goal of making those drawings of people, but he was letting his admiration for that type of artwork affect the way he talked to others, and generally led him down a path of being extremely creepy.
Yeah, man.
Unfortunately for him, that path eventually led him down to sending his NSFW Twitter account to a 15-year-old, but it happened, so it is what it is at this point. While not the worst thing we'll go over in this video, it's
for some,
not
it's
a
like
good
somehow
thing either, though thankfully it does seem that he's helping himself out in the proper way, and those he affected have moved on from their experience with him and have been doing alright for themselves. With that being said, this story has another part to it, albeit not involving Amor, but someone who worked closely with him.
Yeah,
now here we have Blue
person.
Skies, because not only was he involved in an Amor Ultra drama, but he was also involved in his very own a few short months later. To sum up his involvement with Amor Ultra, after everything went down, he made his own twit longer going over his opinions, defending Amor on a couple of things, as well as himself with getting that artwork with the 17-year-old. It wasn't the most important thing given the attention was all on Amor, and given it was just a 2-year age gap between the three of them in the art, most people wrote it off as very poor judgment, but nothing insidious. Months would go by after the Amor Ultra situation, but then Blue himself would get caught up in his own piece of drama with his career on the line now.
Interesting.
On March 12, 2022, Twitter user Siba would write a document going over Blue and his behavior ever since they met him. Siba was the voice actor for Bosup in the Bob and Bosup mod, so they weren't any sort of random person who said some stuff, but someone who worked along with Blue in the making of said mod. The document would first go over the fact that Blue had a folder of over 10 gigabytes of NSFW material, making him out to be some sort of massive creep, that multiple minors were following his NSFW alt Twitter account, and that despite the drawing with the minor being a mistake, it was still considered CP and obviously illegal, according to Australian and United States law. The next part would be Siba going into their own experience with Blue, as when they were 17 and Blue was 18, they were drunk, and when they started to hit on Blue, he kept going along with it despite the obvious intoxication as seen by their messages. It's very obvious in reading the messages that Blue kept things going and could have told an obviously drunk Siba to stop, but he never did, and they kept messaging each other throughout the night. They would continue to chat together the next day, with Blue sending a pic over, and a screenshot of his 10 gigabyte folder would first come to fruition that day as well. Siba would go on to explain that there was no issue given they only had a 1-year age gap, but that they were obviously drunk and Blue kept it going. Siba also says that Blue hit on them first, but it's clear that Siba did it first while drunk, so take that however you feel. They will go on to show Blue interacting with the 15-year-old on his NSFW alt Twitter account, and that he was liking tweets related to MNSFW Twitter, implying that Blue might be into that stuff. Ziba also straight up says that Blue is into I can't
tell me
say
it's
that
not
word,
what I think it is.
obviously, but there's no proof to this claim at all, so again, take this however you feel. Siba would start to talk about Blue and his manipulative behavior, first writing a paragraph about how Blue was known for clout chasing in the Geometry Dash community, and would only talk to you if he could become friends with popular people through you, or however he figured it out. They say others can back him up with these claims, but again provides no evidence to this, and you're led to believe that he's a clout chaser based off their word and nothing more. He goes on to provide an example of Blue stealing other people's designs and ideas for his own, showing how Blue used a music video for inspiration in his own Geometry Dash level, and implying that it was blatant stealing. They go on to explain that this was to show how Blue has a history of stealing designs and that he never talked about the original music video unless he was confronted about it. Along with this was a tweet of Blue throwing shade about a victim of another issue that went down and how Blue has a lack of care for big issues that go down and resorts to making fun of victims. A really long tangent from Sibo about how Blue isn't a wholesome person, but an asshole would commence, and Sibo would start to go into another experience they had with him, this time about an argument they had in a voice chat that led to them having a bit of a fallout, that Blue never responded to them after their message in their DMs after everything went down, and how this shows that Blue is a manipulative piece of shit. The end of the document would be a TLDR of everything they said about Blue, along with an organized list of links used throughout. After reading the document, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a bit weird to think about, because while Sibo brought up some good points like the art with the minor, hitting on an obviously drunk person in themselves, and responding to a 15-year-old on the NSFW alt Twitter account, a lot of other things could be seen as inconclusive or downright petty. The animation in the Geometry Dash level was clearly inspired by the music video and not copying. The point of Blue having a giant folder of images was moot and was only included to make him look like a massive weirdo and creep so that he looked bad and nothing more. And their argument together was literally just an argument between people and not really something you bring up when trying to expose somebody for heinous stuff unless you're just being petty. Either way, the good points stuck out to everyone who read, and so within the next couple hours, Blue would come out with his own document explaining his side to everything in order to clear his name up. Blue
I have nothing to say. Dude, I have actually nothing to say. There's still more. There's still way more. No way.
Blue would confess that he has an addiction to said images and he wasn't proud of it,
Of
but
course he
after
does.
seeing the initial tweets exposing Amor, he finally took a step back to see how bad it had gotten, and that once Amor left the internet, he decided to delete the folder altogether. He explains that it was true that some minors were following his NSFW alt Twitter, and that he forgot to remove them from following the account, and how he should have been more vigilant with running said account. Blue goes on to talk about their interaction with Sibo, and despite them having a known drinking problem, he shouldn't have kept up the conversation given their intoxicated state of mind. He even shows some screenshots of Sibo saying that everything was fine the day later, and proof that their interaction was legal age-wise between the two of them. He goes on to explain that he's a big morals believer, and talks about how Sibo throwing around some serious accusations, implying he's into kids ain't no joke, and is really fucked up of them to do. Blue responds to Sibo's claims of being a clout chaser and defends
this point,
himself,
it's
saying that
words.
Sibo is reaching so hard to villainize him with
There's
claims
so
that
many
literally
things,
go
man.
nowhere and are purely nothing but drama for the sake of it, and says he doesn't become friends with people for anything other than just to be a good person overall. Blue would show that he apologized to the person in question when throwing shade, as he didn't understand the severity of that situation, and said apology is still up on his Twitter account to this day, and really paints Sibo as someone who purposefully left out this information just to make Blue look as bad as possible. He goes on to explain that their argument was literally just a petty argument and nothing more, and questions why Sibo would even include this unless they had ulterior motives in mind. The end of the document will be Blue stating that the 15-year-old he asked for stuff from on Twitter got exposed for lying about their age beforehand, and that he only interacted with them because their account had the 18+ symbol at the time, and shows that he can't even find the original post from that account anymore as well. After Blue's document dropped, Sibo would respond to it in a Twitter thread. They would say that the evidence of him breaking the law is still there, and that whether you want to believe him about the minors following his NSFW account is just word and nothing more. They would go on to explain that they were never a bad person when drunk, never had a drinking problem, and never treated other people badly, dropping a link to Mike the Magic Man's own response, the voice actor for Bob in the Bob and Bosup mod. Mike would make a series of posts that basically come down to saying that Blue was over-exaggerating Zebo's drunkenness to make them look bad to the point of malicious intent, and that Mike never witnessed anything negative coming from Zebo in the times they drank in the voice calls. Mike would say that Blue was downplaying the voice call and that he was generally mad at Zebo for playing a different game, and that's how everything blew up in their faces. Mike's thread would end off by stating he was defending Zebo after being dragged through the mud by Blue in his document. Things would head back to Zebo stating he never initiated their explicit conversation. Zebo would go on to say that Blue was victim blaming them and that he took advantage of them while they were drunk, and that Blue had no proof to show he didn't interact with the 15-year-old on Twitter when their account said 18+. They would conclude the thread by saying that Blue was trying to flip the script in order to make him look bad and malicious with their intent in making the document to begin with. Blue would respond to Zebo's thread and accept that he did victim blame them and that he regrets taking advantage of them while they were drunk. He goes on to explain he has no indecent images, but that's all up to his words, so it is what it is, and
Yeah,
explains
no.
that his memory from the
I
argument
don't
in the
believe
voice
it.
chat was bad, and that he was sorry for misremembering it. He would conclude everything with a long post apologizing for his own actions, stating he felt cornered and that Sibo wasn't the bad guy in the situation at all. Things would end off with him stating that he would talk to his college counselor about how to improve himself, and that he would take a long hiatus from the internet for the time being. Blue would post updates on his mental health journey on his alt account at that time, and then he would finally come back to his main account on May 6th, when he dropped a 26-page document going over the past couple weeks.
Okay.
The document would start off with him explaining why he made it to begin with, stating that his college doesn't cover online therapy and only in person, and since summer was coming up, it wouldn't be possible anymore. He goes into detail on his therapeutic journey thus far, and then starts to go into the misconceptions made about him during the drama. He goes over how some people now think he's into kids because of the lies stated about him and how it's awful to deal with, and how some people just call him names and treat him badly for no real reason at all. Blue would apologize to Sibo again and states that since he never responded to his private one, he felt it was necessary to make a public one. He reminisces how they used to be good friends, but that the fame got to his head and he started to treat them differently to the point it ruined their friendship altogether, and that he was ignoring his feelings and it led him down a path of an abusive friendship. He goes on to talk about how they were always sticking by each other's side, but he let his own actions ruin a good friendship, and that talking to his college therapist helped him figure out the wrongs of his ways, and that he is truly trying to fix himself whether he or other people believe him or not. The next couple pages would be him apologizing to people not involved in this drama, so we'll move right ahead. Blue will go on about the changes he was making in his life and the way he carries himself for the next 2 or so pages, talking about how he plans to share his graphic design passions more, basically stating he plans on doing positive things in order to create a more positive mindset and lifestyle around him. He also states he's not interacting with minors on Discord anymore because it's too much of a risk given that people try to twist things and he doesn't want to deal with that kind of stress anymore. He would end things off calling out YouTuber Captain Jack Attack for not covering his side of the story and being extremely biased with his coverage, and overall doing a shit job at covering things to begin with, going on about how he needs to be more truthful given his style of content, as getting things wrong, incorrect, or with clear bias can be really bad for his career. He would thank YouTuber Serial Introvert for being concise with his coverage as well as being informative and unbiased, and that he respects the work put in it even if it's still about stuff that made him look bad. Sibo would respond through somebody else's post where they said they wouldn't forgive him, saying that they'll forgive but not forget, that there are things about Blue that never made it to the public given the circumstances, but again, given how Sibo has said a lot of hearsay throughout this entire drama, it's up to interpretation. This is one of the first situations where I can say that it genuinely feels like someone is changing their ways and not pulling off some sort of sneaky shit. Reading Blue's apologies doesn't feel like someone trying to cling on for any support they can get, but someone who acknowledged their own mistakes and is trying to atone for their past sins. Both Sibo and Blue did their own mistakes, like Sibo trying to bring up things with no proof to paint Blue as bad as they could, and Blue with being extremely reckless with the NSFW side of himself, and being a bad friend overall, but I can say that both seem to be heading in the right direction for themselves. It's quite nice to see a story where everybody moves ahead in a positive direction, even if the stuff that went down wasn't so positive to begin with.
Yeah.
With all that being said, not all stories in this video will have a happy ending like this, and unfortunately for us, the next story is about someone who, instead of doing the correct thing to fix themselves, would just try and go ahead and pretend nothing they did is wrong, much to the dismay of all those keeping up with everything going on. Mirth is a Brazilian YouTuber who's well known for her animation videos based around Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, Friday Night Funkin', and most recently her Kirby and Hailing YouTubers animations. She got her start in the Ace Attorney community and was like any other artist, posting stuff on her DeviantArt page for a while and whatnot. Time would go on, and after having a dormant YouTube channel originally under the name Kodomodachi, she would post her first video, that being Among Us with cute little bunnies. The video didn't do very well as the Among Us hype train had since died down, so she moved on to the next one, Friday Night Funkin'. She would find her initial success in a video of boyfriend spinning in a chair, and got even more success making a video of Pico in a maid outfit. She would copy this formula for the next few months, gaining millions of views, and when things were all said and done, would get 100,000 subscribers in just that small time span. What started off as a story of somebody finally breaking through the hellscape that is YouTube and making an online career for themselves would quickly change.
That's a
and
crazy
given how this
description
video
of
has
YouTube.
gone thus far, I'm sure you guys have an idea of what happened. On May 10th, 2021, DMs would leak of an argument between Kodomodachi and another person. What sounds like a normal argument over a relationship gone wrong quickly became much more troublesome, as it would turn out that Kodomadachi was dating a 13-year-old and didn't give a shit about it, hence the "so what" statement to the other party. She was 18 when this happened, and while it came out that the relationship lasted no longer than a day, the fact she went through with trying to date a 13-year-old is insanely crazy to hear about.
Dude.
Suddenly, the story of another promising YouTuber was on the line once more, with people talking about it left and right in the Friday Night Funkin' community, but Kodomadachi wasn't going down without a fight. On Twitter, she'd make a post acknowledging what had been going on, but states that dating a 13-year-old at her age is perfectly legal, which as expected caused a bunch of people to get understandably pissed off at her for saying that. She would delete her Discord server after a massive dumpster fire went down, with people either defending, admonishing, or downright trashing her for getting into the relationship, and eventually made a community post on her YouTube channel going over what had been going on. She admits to engaging in the relationship with a 13-year-old, but had no bad intentions or anything, and exclaims that she feels sorry for disappointing everyone and how she lashed out and treated others badly in response. She expresses regret for what she had done, says she'll be taking a break, and ends things off asking people for advice on how to improve herself as a person for the upcoming future, with a meme to top it all off.
Yeah, never.
However,
why would
despite
you
her
put a
public
meme
response,
in there?
behind the scenes she was still adamantly defending herself after they broke up, saying the relationship is like between two siblings now, but given she only broke up with him after the news went public, it really gives off a weird vibe and sounds more like a Kodomadachi wanted to stay close to the 13-year-old despite the obvious bad implications that come along with it.
Bro.
Another leaked message will show her still defending the relationship, doubling down and stating that it's perfectly legal for the two of them to date each other, despite it clearly not being perfectly moral, and given the way this case looks, I say the moral argument is much stronger than the legal one. YouTuber Harley TBS would have a conversation with Kodomadachi, talking about how they wanted to learn from the situation so it doesn't repeat itself, and after discussing what was going on, she would admit that she knew the relationship was wrong, but not the consequences of it, and say that they knew their behavior was wrong. She would get into a long-winded discussion with YouTuber Red977 about what was going on, with screenshots like her saying that if he knew it was uncomfortable, he could just leave because she did nothing wrong, and how it was all mistaken, that nobody is perfect, and she's learning and all that sort of stuff. The 13-year-old would
I hate
actually
when
come
people
out
say
with
that.
a mess.
No. I hate when people say that as an excuse. Like, no, everyone makes mistakes. Everyone's like, bro, you've seen so many people make so many mistakes. Why can't you learn from their experiences and not do what they do? It's not that hard. Just if you look at everyone else around you and you notice that you're doing the same exact thing, then stop doing it, and then you're okay. It's that simple. Why would you keep doing these things?
Message saying that they met through YouTube and became
Like,
friends,
I'm not-
but that when they
what?
started the relationship together, they
understand
realized they should stop it as it
the
was
mindset
wrong.
behind this.
Another leaked message would show Kodomadachi talking about an experience with a 13 or 14-year-old
That was the
and how she
first
felt
pause
uncomfortable
in a
with his
long time.
advances,
Holy.
and was an example of her confusing feelings for people. More messages will leak of her wanting to keep her YouTube career alive, and so Kodomadachi would make another community post going over things once more. She claimed she got the proper rest she needed, and that she didn't understand the severity of what she did at the time, while also claiming that she made a small mistake and that people are starting to sound like a broken record by constantly bringing it up. She says she's still good friends with the 13-year-old, and that they were both just confused on their feelings of friendship, and that the experience going on knocked some sense into the both of them. She says that people were being excessive, labeling her as a menace, and that she'll rise up from what happened because people won't tell her who she is, only she can do that. While yes, it's true, this can be a learning experience for anyone, there was one small issue that came with this post. Kodomadachi was still friends with the 13-year-old in question. People brought it up in the comments, and in a thread with Red977, she would say that she wouldn't abandon their friendship despite everything that went down, that nobody can tell her what they are, and that nobody will stop her dreams.
My dreams.
As you can see, this
what?
is very concerning to hear, as all she had to do at this point was admit her faults in trying to date them and drop them all together, but she still wanted to be close by to them, and given the situation, people were rightfully up in arms against this. After all this went down, she would take a hiatus saying she was going to retire the channel and dip out from the internet, but not before going on a really long tangent about social media and relationships and to not let anything influence her choices, notably saying she won't repeat the same mistake again. After
This is
this,
so
she would purge
ironic.
a couple million views from her channel and go radio silent on the public level. She would come back to YouTube on September 27th with a video introducing herself as Mirth now, rebranding the channel a little bit. She would make an extremely long-winded description responding to the haters, which just reeks of somebody who doesn't want to take accountability for what they did, and is just trying to get the epic own on everyone, while also trying to keep their YouTube career alive. People in the comments obviously started to clown on her, and she would try to defend herself, but for those who knew who she was beforehand, it was just another attempt at somebody trying to scurry their way back.
Dude, this comment is so stupid. I'd rather listen to my family than some randoms, lol. Bro, it's... Can you... This isn't a good example, but criticism? Like, you should listen to some criticism to an extent. Like, constructive criticism, not this. This is like, you should have kept it. Like, that's just... That's not criticism, it's just an opinion they have. But I don't know the context for this, so I don't know. But criticism, you should listen to what people say so you don't do, like, the weird thing again. You should... What is it? You should... I can't find the word for it. Bro, you should just listen to people so you can't, like... You don't have to... Why would you listen to your family? Your family's, like, more sensitive to you. So they're, like, more accepting of what you do. And, like, they can't really see the wrong as much as other people can. Because people from the outside looking in can clearly see the weird things you are doing as weird. While your family probably doesn't see... doesn't see anything, like, that bad. So, like... Dude...
back
Listen
into the
to
career
your
they so
only your family is
desperately
so...
crave. Now by this point, it's obvious she's trying to rush her comeback
Some
and started to make
randoms
videos
too,
not
bro.
related to Friday Night Funkin' in order to gain a new subscriber audience that had no idea of her past. With that being said, people screw up in life, and you know what? After doing it once, it should be a lesson to learn from. So no harm, no foul, right?
I
Well,
guess.
it turns out that Mirth has a history of dating people well below her age, and this was all the way back when she was known as Cosmos in the Ace Attorney community. On October
Okay.
3rd, Red Knight 777 would make a YouTube video going over her time in the Ace Attorney community back when she was 17 years old. He first shows a conversation between her and a friend talking about someone she liked, and it would turn out that this someone was that 13-year-old she mentioned being creepy earlier in this
Okay.
video, and that she told people that so long as nothing happens between the two of them, that it was okay for her to date them, which she basically confirms in another message she sent to her friend. Suddenly, this became a pattern of behavior, and seeing that someone used the same excuse that if they don't do nothing between each other then it's okay, not only with this relationship, but also the one when she was in the Friday Night Funkin' community, it became very clear that this was just an excuse she used to get people off her back whenever she got any heat for her actions.
Of course.
Mirth would jump ship over from Friday Night Funkin' to Five Nights at Freddy's and make videos about the new game security breach, getting millions of views in the process once more. She wouldn't acknowledge Red Knight's video until sometime in January 2022, when she left a comment on the video getting mad at him for coming out with this information. She would reply coping again more about how he's trying to spread hate to her channel, questioning how if she truly was a bad person, why is Enzo, an ex of hers, defending her, how the drama is old, how bringing up her
Because she's
past
a
doesn't scare her,
manipulative
blah blah
person,
blah, you
clearly.
get the point already. Mirth basically just got mad Red Knight brought this up and showed everyone she's a manipulative freak with a pattern of dating 13-year-olds, and is just coping live for everyone to see. Despite all this against her and her very recent shady past, Mirth's rebrand was proven to be a massive success, doubling her subscriber count in just a few short months, but as people noticed she was back, they would start to talk about her past again. She would make a community post on her YouTube channel going over all this, talking about how she has her parents to tell her right from wrong, and how she talked to a professional about everything, and they said she didn't commit any sort of crime. She says she has really bad mental health issues after her mother's passing when she was 10, how she won't let people tell her what to do or influence the way she acts anymore, and how she's pushing herself away from all minors that she's ever met. She would make similar statements after Toastify released his video on her, basically just beating around the bush about the issue at hand, while saying that the internet is a bad place and that she doesn't need to depend on people to make her happy. Also, something interesting to note, she states after this that she was getting bored of the FNF stuff and wanted to move on to another community soon after her past was brought to light. Just thought I'd point that out for you. Despite
Just keeps
everything against
running.
her, Mirth has a roaring YouTube channel once more, with her FNAF videos and most recently her Kirby ones, bringing millions of views to a channel once destined to falter to obscurity. Her past is still haunting her, but given most of her fanbase has no idea of the things she's done, this seems to have all come down to a situation of someone who brute forces their way back to relevancy despite the heinous things they've done in the past. This is the only situation in this video where the person has gotten away with what they've done, so I guess we'll have to wait and see if Mirth screws up a third time or if something else happens, but until now, it is what it is. As I'm sure you guys have seen
I hate
throughout
that
this
so much.
video,
It is what
there
it
are a
is.
multitude of
Right.
pretty messed up people who are in the Friday Night Funkin' community at one point. A lot of it stems from people feeling some type of way, and unfortunately said type of way caused them to do some pretty heinous things. Listen, it's normal to feel that kind of way, it's what makes people human, but as you grow up, there's a responsibility in controlling yourself that needs to be understood. All of these situations could have been easily avoided if the people just controlled themselves.
Exactly.
So look at these stories as an
Exactly.
example of what could happen to you if you don't control yourself.
Literally, what it boils down to is literally self-control. You have to like have some like. Do you not have any shame? Like you should. Yeah, literally self-control. That's literally it. You need self-control. You need to control what you. Dude, it's just literally common sense as well. You like doing all these weird things. You should know that it's wrong, and then like he just described it perfectly with that one word.
So look at these stories as an example of what could happen to you if you don't control yourself. With that being said,
Literally
what do
just
you guys think about these content creators? From people like The Maze, someone who's been gone for months, to people like Mirth, someone who's clawed their way back to success, it would be nice to hear what y'all have to say about them.
Dude.
Make sure to tell me your opinions in the comments below. Thank you for watching today's video, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, make sure to like and subscribe. And as always, with all of that out of the way, I will see you guys later. His ex was
Classic YouTube outro. How do I wait a second, okay. Wait, I need to go all the way to the end, okay. Alright. This was dude, I can't. So many things to process, man. This just got me down. This just got me in a bad mood, man. No, okay. Literally just like control yourself. Really, that's all you need to do. And everyone will be fine. Nothing bad will happen if you control yourself. If you think about what you're doing before you do it. And that's it, man. It's just that simple. Sorry I didn't talk as much in this one. He just kept speaking and there's like information like continuously like getting in my head. I couldn't really say anything, you know, because he's saying everything for me, you know. Yeah, I'll talk way more next time, man. But yeah, this is the last I'm ever gonna talk about Friday Night Funkin', man. In this way, in particular, man. You know what? Wait. I need to find out about hip no lullaby controversy. Cause that is a really high quality mod that got something. Okay, let's see them. One last little negative thing. Now we're done.
Guys, Asho here, back with another video, and today, sadly,
You're pretty loud.
Lullaby V2 has actually gone on and been cancelled. Now, in this video, I'm going to explain what led up to the cancellation, and also my thoughts on the trend I'm seeing with Funkin' mods. That will be its own separate video, but I'm just going to touch upon it. Now, if you do enjoy this video or find it, what's it called? Informative or things like that, please like and subscribe, as I'm so close, as my goal is 20,000 at the moment.
Pretty good.
And yeah, I'm on 11.1k.
Okay, get to the
join my
point.
Discord server, which will
Okay.
be linked down below, and follow my
Get
Twitter,
to the point.
which will also
Please.
be linked down below. But with that said, on with the video.
Okay.
So pretty much what happened was yesterday, Bambirds came out saying that he was going to delay the mod due to drama related shit that happened to him. But then, not even
Explain
a few
what it
hours
is.
later, one of the devs that worked on Lullaby openly came out and said, "Alright, the mod's cancelled, we're going to be uploading a canned build soon, so you can go and play that." So now, this is pretty much what happened was, Bambirds a few months ago accidentally dropped an N-word bomb in a private VC. He apologized for that, like, on the day. and Twitter mainly ignored it. But now that we had a release date for Hypnozola by V2 and we were about 10 days away from getting a full version, Twitter is doing their usual dig around, and they're like, wait a minute, didn't Bamford say the N-word like 6 months ago on accident? I know, let's cancel him for it. Now, I don't know if that's precisely what happened. Banbirds or anybody can correct me in the comments. But what we've got is Banbird's personal words on his FNF Lullaby V2 soundtrack. He pretty much like gives a detailed or like a short explanation of what happens. So I'll go ahead and read it. A lot has happened within just the last 24 hours. Lots of people pulled out of the team and took the assets with them, setting us back months of work time. And it just kept getting worse to the point where there's no point further going with this. I really wanted this to happen. It was 8 months of hard work, but due to a fuck up on my part, the entire thing spiraled out of control. If you want to know the context, here you go. At least I can focus on my comic more now, and I'm really sorry about all of this. I guess you can at least enjoy the soundtrack. The build was posted without my consent out of nowhere by one of the team devs while I was asleep, which caused me to say fuck it. Thank you for everyone and goodbye FNF. If you did not know,
Wait, what?
Hypnozola by V2 was the last Friday Night Funkin' mod Bambers was going to work on, and they would proceed to leave the community. But we can't even fucking have that because of Twitter. And then pretty much, basically people started like getting into an argument about who defended Bambers from saying the N-word, and then Bambers proceeded to tweet out saying, "I got explaining to do. I got a no drama rule, but this is more than that, and since the person affected went public, I should too. To clear it up, yes, I have said the N-word in the VC while Garbo and Biggie were present. It wasn't the hard R, but it was the N-word nonetheless. So if you don't know the difference between a hard R and a soft R,
Soft R, what?
A hard R N-word is when you put the R, like how it would be used to like a derogatory comment or a racial comment. A soft R is where it's an A on the end, like what's it called, like it's stereotype for black people to say it to each other and things like that. Basically, like the kind of like joking around kind of thing like that. Yeah. Anyway, with that said, I hope you all did enjoy. And TLDW, Twitter dug up shit on Bambers accidentally saying the N-word a few months ago, and they decided to cancel him over it, leading to Hypnozola by V2 to be cancelled. But with that said, I'll see you all in the next video, which will be me playing the canned build, which should be out in probably around about an hour or two. With that said, I'll see you all in the next video. Astronomical, out.
Jesus. It's a 50% volume too. Alright. That was not as bad as I expected, actually. It's still pretty bad since he said the N-word, man, but you know, man, you know. Dude, to be honest, a lot of people say the N-word when they're not black. If you go to high school or any other school and you hear so many people say it, man, it's kind of dumb that the whole mod got canceled for that, though. I'm so surprised that's the only reason. That's really weird. But yeah, that's not as, that makes everything a little, that softens the blow a bit, you know. But yeah, man, that's it. It's so sad that mod got, it's such a high quality mod, man. There's so many good things in there, man. The music is good. I don't care what you say, the music is good, man. I wish I had the meme right now, but no, it doesn't matter. Dude, the music is good. I don't understand why people are clowning everyone else for liking Friday Night Funkin' music. It's literally just the beeps and the boops are just playable instruments to me, at least. But I'm getting sidetracked. That's it. That's it for today, man. It's kind of not good, you know, in terms of the things we're talking about today. But you know, man, that's, we can only look forward to the other FNF mods, man. I don't even, what other FNF mods are coming out? I don't know, man. But yeah, man, that's it for the video, man. If you liked, then let's go, man. Let's go. I can't even do the outro, man. It's just I'll see you in the next stream, man. To be honest, I can't really make light of any of this. Okay, man. See you next stream. Bye bye.